Welcome back to the Triple XP Arcade. We're picking up our conversation from last week where we capped off the Attitude Era, and this week we're going to be jumping into the Ruthless Aggression Era up till today. Enjoy! So this actually is a good segue into the next era, which is the Ruthless Aggression Era. Ruthless Aggression Era is 2002 to 2008, and sorry for jumping the queue here, but my standout in my head for the Ruthless Aggression Era was Kurt Angle. But now I can't remember if he was in that era or if he was sort of primarily Attitude Era.
He might have been in the early stages of Ruthless Aggression because he had matches with Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
Eddie Guerrero was one of the main guys in Ruthless Aggression Era. I think you're right. I think he was in the Ruthless Aggression Era because I remember he had matches with Benoit too.
Okay.
A lot of matches with Benoit. And Benoit was not an Attitude Era, so there's a bit of overlap that I think is fair to say.
Okay. So let's hop over to Lex again here for the Ruthless Aggression Era. This is sort of earmarked in history, again, 2002 to 2008, with the clip that you'll always see is John Cena coming out and in the ring and literally using the phrase ruthless aggression. And so this kind of kicks off this period of time. Lex, do you have memories from the Ruthless Aggression Era?
I do, yeah. One of my favorite matches of all time is actually in that era. It's the one with the Elimination Chamber with Goldberg, I think Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista.
Oh, wow.
I
think it was that one, but it was the one where Triple H introduced his sledgehammer.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was epic because, back then I'm still watching. I'm like, oh my God, this is 100% real. Then you see a guy get smoked by a sledgehammer. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah, that I really liked Batista as one of the wrestlers as well. So that was a highlight for me. I liked Brock Lesnar, but we didn't have SmackDown to watch back then. So I didn't know a lot of the SmackDown wrestlers. So I was stuck with the Monday Night Raw wrestlers there.
Okay. So Batista, though, that's one that we haven't really flagged here a bunch, but Batista was a pretty big part of the Ruthless Aggression Era too, I would say. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. He's a big part of Ruthless Aggression Era, yeah.
Would you say, Lex, that Batista was kind of higher on your list for that particular era?
Yeah, I would say he was probably my favorite one from that list. I can't remember when the Hardy Boys got really crazy with their matches, but I remember liking Batista a lot.
Yeah, I think the Hardy Boys leaned a little bit more to the Attitude Era. That's when they had a lot of their TLC matches, like Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a good call though. I for some reason I've completely, you know what it is? Sorry for jumping the queue again. It's because the Ruthless Aggression Era is a little bit where I started tapering off. I think near the kind of the tail end of this. So when Batista started getting really big, I actually don't remember watching wrestling with Batista around. So there's kind of a gap in my memory when Batista is big because I didn't watch wrestling when he had his run. So he deserves a call. Good shout out there. Sponsor us, Batista. All right, Gigs. Ruthless Aggression Era. What do you think?
See, I think I'm with you guys on this one, where it's this is where I started to fall off. Yeah. Was this when WCW, the roster started to move over to the WWE?
Yes.
This that era? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is when I started to fall off. It got really complicated to me, and I was like, "Oh, there's so many people now because they're all in one. In one program now." Yeah, so that's kind of when I go. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, KD, is this the beginning? Is the Ruthless Aggression Era the beginning of this? Is this when the WCW ECW invasion happened, or was that the end of the Attitude Era?
It's the beginning. It's the beginning of this era.
Okay. So I think that's kind of the amount that I stuck in there was when there was kind of that invasion storyline where you had WCW roster superstars coming in and kind of messing about, and they were creating teams and and then you had Shane McMahon buying WCW, quote, being kind of the face of that and his team versus the WWE team. Okay, so that was kind of the beginning here before that sort of kind of tapered off. And that's, I think, when I stopped watching, same as you, Gigs.
Yeah. Did Chris Jericho? He was still Attitude Era when he came to the WWE, right?
Yes.
Y2J,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been 2000-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
That was that still stands out in my memory, but yeah, I guess that's just before I kind of stopped watching.
Yeah. Katie, what do you think? Ruthless Aggression era. Were you still sort of involved in this period?
Yeah, same with you guys. It started to drop off a little bit for the same reasons. Like this is the part where WCW doesn't exist anymore. So there's a whole swag of people coming over, and the roster was just too big. And I think they sort of got complacent with their storylines a little bit. So it kind of got muddy. You were mentioning the John Cena Ruthless Aggression promo, and so that's where the overlap happened because that happened on Kurt Angle, and they did have a few matches. I remember now. Early
That's
on.
right. Okay. Yeah. I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kurt Angle is the one that invited that challenge, and then John Cena is the one that came out. And if it wasn't for that, John Cena would not be anywhere near as big as he is today. Like he made himself on that one promo. Right? It's an amazing thing. So he was the big star of that era. But my favorite of that era was probably Eddie Guerrero, Edge, and maybe Orton. Those are the three that kind of stuck out for me. Randy Orton, Edge, and Eddie Guerrero. Yeah,
I have to call out here too. This is kind of sticks in my head when I think of wrestling memories. I thought it was very cool, and I still think it's very cool. KD, I remember when we were kind of like watching all of these shows earlier on in this particular era, or maybe it was actually prior, like just at the tail end of the Attitude Era. But when Randy Orton was starting to come out or be introduced as a wrestler, he was just kind of like a nobody. Like he didn't have like a big whatever at first. He came out. This was pre-RKO era. I don't know if you remember, Katie. His finishing move was the overdrive. Very underwhelming finisher. But there was something about that you saw, because I remember seeing him in these like kind of jobber matches, I want to say, and you were like, this guy's going to be really huge. So there's something about him, but he's going to be really big in this business someday. And it was like way, way, way. It's like the equivalent of like if you pick someone from NXT today who like just started showing up and started getting their matches and being like, this person's going to be a Hall of Famer someday. And that just blew my mind, because I tell everyone, and I'm like, my brother called Randy Orton before, like way, way before that should have even happened. So there was, what was it that you saw about Randy Orton that made you kind of flag that you're like, this dude's going to be something?
Well, he's an athletic guy. He's young. He's very athletic. He had a good look to him, and like he just had a good presence. Like, and that I couldn't describe it at the time, but when you see someone that kind of has it, it's sort of it kind of just comes to you. And I mean it wasn't a wild guess. Like I've been able to kind of see some people, some of their early matches and early promos and stuff like that, and say like that guy's pretty good. I think he's going to do something. And then when you start to see more of him, and they started to put him into Evolution, which is that faction with Flair, Triple H, and Batista, like then you started to see him emerge more. Like he's the youngest champion, I think, of all time. Like when he was I don't know how old he was, but he was really young. So it was just something you saw. Like he was able to deliver a character that was believable, and again, good look, very athletic, and so he kind of had all the bases covered.
Wasn't he called the Legend Killer?
He wasn't the Legend Killer yet.
I remember that.
But he had a phase when he was the Legend Killer. And that was it was just him kicking the crap out of old people, which is a very interesting character to have. He was doing the Viper for a while, which like he was just psychotic, and he's kind of going back into that right now. But like they were booking him really strongly during that time. So really good.
And here we are in 2026. It's WrestleMania weekend. He's going to be wrestling Cody Rhodes for the potential 15th championship. So, however many years later, is he this? If he wins 15, Katie, is this the second most next to John Cena, or is this third? Oh, it would be John Cena, Flair, and then Randy Orton at 15. It would be, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, he had just an incredible career. So like I said, I always flag this for when I talk about wrestling. I'm like, my brother called this. way earlier than anyone ever should have been able to. So I'm always very amazed at that. So after Ruthless Aggression, we go into what I would consider probably my least favorite era of all time. We're looking into the PG era. This is the 2008 to 2014.
Ugh.
And this is the period where I just genuinely didn't watch wrestling at all. So I'll preface this by saying I have no opinions on the PG era. The only thing I know about the PG era is John Cena is there. And that's all I know. Lex, were you watching during the PG era?
No, I think this is where I completely dropped off as well.
Dropped off.
Who are even the wrestlers in that era?
You're talking like Rey Mysterio was there, and Umaga. Remember Umaga?
Umaga, okay.
Orton, The Miz, John Cena, Edge, Batista, like those kind of guys. The reformation of DX, I think, was then. Yeah, it wasn't a good era. Like it just a lot of people turned off from it for sure.
Yeah. Can you maybe give like a quick little elevator pitch, Katie, on like why this is called the PG era?
In short, they were from Attitude Era to Ruthless Aggression Era, and then from that point on, they wanted to be more kid friendly again. Go get more sponsorships and advertisers because the interest in wrestling was starting to taper off again. So in order to bring back the advertisers, they wanted to clean up what wrestling was, and there was no competition at the time too, right? So no main competition, anyways. So they headed in the direction of trying to just clean up their act and become more kid friendly, and that's what they made the decision to go PG for the standards committee of TV and make things very light.
So let me just set the kind of give some context for our listeners who don't follow wrestling at all. When we talk about the Attitude Era in fondness, this is like what we grew up with. The Attitude Era is where you see crazy stuff like bra and panties matches. You see chair shots directly, like steel chair shots directly to the face. You see power bombs on thumbtacks. You see people thrown off of the Hell in a Cell cages, like all of this stuff.
When Undertaker threw Mankind off the top of the hell. Yeah, okay.
Now you talk about the PG era. This is like where John Cena sort of takes over as the face of the company. And this is where you're no longer allowed head chair shots. You're no longer allowed to bleed on any of the shows, whether it be the weekly shows or PLEs, pay-per-views or whatever they called them at that time. PLEs, I guess. But they really just dialed everything back. And I think the sentiment that I have, similar to what many fans would probably experience, is that huge dial back of everything that you loved about the Attitude Era is specifically why I stopped watching. And it wasn't like because I'm like, oh, like it's because it's for kids now, blah, blah, blah. Like that wasn't it. It was just because everything that was good about wrestling that I loved, they cut out entirely. And it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah, that's basically what I think a lot of people would say, and I think it's a fair statement. When they cleaned it up, it just became too comical in some ways, and doesn't have the edginess that it used to have, and it's just kind of boring because of it. So until and I should say this because to be fair, they threw in CM Punk during this era, and CM Punk is he was sort of the anti-hero character, so. John Cena needed someone like that, and that created a lot of buzz and interest. So that was probably the highlight of this era, is the CM Punk John Cena rivalry that happened, and that was okay. That carried it through, but it wasn't nowhere near the interest of back in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, is the PG era where the CM Punk pipe bomb promo happens?
Yeah, it happened then. Yeah, and the infamous SummerSlam where he stole the title, like that one that he didn't have a contract and he still won the title and he left with the title, like that, the whole thing. That was that era for sure.
Okay. Gigs, any thoughts on the PG era?
I mean, I have some questions that maybe you guys can answer.
Yeah.
So, okay, obviously, a lot of us all fell off, and I wonder if that was because that was kind of that real peak UFC growth period. Because I remember, because that was like right when I was like in the middle of post-secondary. And a lot of my friends and everybody around me was getting really, really into UFC stuff. And I wonder if part of the reason why wrestling kind of fell off in that era was because of the rise of like UFC type stuff.
I think that has some merit. Obviously, when the PG era comes out, it wasn't as cool to like wrestling anymore. And then you have UFC come out, and that's like, back to the edginess of things, right? And that's real fighting. So, you have that going up in value. Obviously, in the combat sports arena, which wrestling is really not, but in that same environment, the interest is going to naturally go down. So it does make sense that emergence of UFC and MMA coming up probably hurt the WWE at that time.
Yeah, I would almost feel like indirectly, in my opinion, is that like because everything was dialed down and UFC happened to be there as the alternative option. So I don't know from my perspective if it was people specifically just moving over to UFC as much as it was like the wrestling fans being like, wrestling sucks now. Oh, okay, there's another option. It's not wrestling, but it's UFC. So let's follow that.
In some ways, you kind of knew, like, everyone knows that wrestling is scripted, right? And it's even during the Attitude Era, like you still questioned it a little bit. But when you have UFC as the alternative, now you really say this is real and this is fake. That becomes quite easy to see now. And so obviously the fake one or the scripted one becomes even less cool because this is just a soap opera compared to what you really see, like, Chuck Liddell and everyone beating each other up for money. Like that's real now.
Yeah. And that was also like when UFC had that very entertaining stint where they had that reality show version.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also Rampage Jackson was coming up and Brock Lesnar was fighting. So it's like they had storylines kind of.
Yep.
Not obviously not in the same sort of way, but like there was something besides just the fighting at that time that was interesting, which maybe drew more people again towards UFC stuff.
Good point.
Yeah. Second question. I thought one of you guys really liked Hardcore Holly at some point. Am I wrong about this?
Okay, first of all, you say that like it's a joke, but Hardcore Holly is badass.
No, I'm not saying. I just like I when we're talking about our favorite wrestlers during the like era, I'm surprised Hardcore Holly didn't come up, and because in my memory, in the deep recesses of my mind, I remember somebody. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it's any of us or if it's like another cousin or something. Really liked Hardcore Holly.
It wasn't me.
It was not me. But I will say though that Hardcore Holly he's got a reputation though. I say he's badass because when you watch Hardcore Holly matches, I guess let me even preface that further by saying Hardcore Holly gimmick was way better than Sparkplug Bob Holly, if you remember that gimmick.
Yeah.
Where he had a mullet and he was like NASCAR themed or whatever. Like that gimmick sucked so bad. So he got rebranded as Hardcore Holly. And in general, his gimmick was just he's stiff. He was stiff with everyone, and he was kind of like, I want to say, the locker room enforcer. If you did something dumb or if you're messing up on your spots or something, he'll give you real stiff receipts in the ring. And every time you see him wrestle, it looks like it hurts real bad wrestling Hardcore Holly.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I just remembered it. I just wanted to bring it up because it was like bugging me.
Nice. Okay, so the next couple eras are a little bit fuzzy in my opinion. This may also just be because I didn't watch a ton during this era, but we kind of go into what I think people will call the reality era, kind of mixing in with the new era / post-COVID era. When I say the reality era, this is like 2014 to 2016 and then 2016 into COVID. This is the era where they started trying to make the storylines more real and like tie into like social media things. And so they started to try to blur the lines a little bit from what was scripted in the ring, what is scripted, to now there's things happening outside on social media. Now you're like, oh, like, did they really have like beef outside the ring, or like what's what's the deal with the story there? Is this real or not? And that's where this kind of era, I think, tries to blur the lines a little bit. Is that kind of your understanding, Katie, or do you have a different perspective on this kind of 2016 to COVID period?
This was the era that, if I'm not mistaken, was highlighted by the Daniel Bryan thing.
Yes.
This is Wrestlemania 30, I think. So yes, that's what I remember it too. Like they really did a good job of embracing what social media and the what the marks were posting, and trying to blur the lines so that it didn't feel like it was so scripted and so black and white. So I think they did a good job of trying to make those things feel unsure for the fan, to be like, I know it's scripted, but like that sounded, or that seems like there's some reality behind it. And again, I think they did a good job of doing that, because the whole chase of the Daniel Bryan thing while he was against the bosses, like, we've seen this before. This was the anti-hero, or the hero going against the bosses. We've seen that before. That's the Stone Cold Vince McMahon thing, but they did it in a different way, where Daniel Bryan was just like, I mean, he looks like a goat. Like he's not the goat. He looks like a goat.
Yeah.
Like, he's a small
So
wrestler. There's no way that this guy should ever be crowned as a champion or look like as a champion. But they did a good job of building him up that way, because they gave him the villains, and the villains was the boss, right? So they did a great job of building that up to the point where they had movements, right? The Yes movement happened during this time frame,
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
a thing. Like, it became a thing. People were doing this in sports arenas, at like games, like regular
Yeah.
games. Like, the Yes
Yes.
movement was a big
Yeah.
thing. So
Yes. Yes.
when you see
Yes.
that
Yes.
becoming
Yes.
part of this movement, the WWE did a good job during this phase to really make them more mainstream than they did the previous era. So they did a good job for sure.
Lex, did you watch at all during this kind of 2014 to COVID period at all?
No, not at all. I don't know who any of the new wrestlers are. Like whenever we watch the Royal Rumble, like 95% of the wrestlers, I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And Gigs, for you in this period, or were you kind of like involved in this era as well, or at all?
This was when I was just solely watching Royal Rumbles at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of tapered off a bit. Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. I loved watching the new wrestlers in the Royal Rumble and stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I didn't really know anybody, but there was definitely some wrestlers that like came up where I'm like, oh, they're really cool. Actually, like, I remember like Rhea Ripley's first Rumble, and I was like, oh man, she's actually like awesome, and now she's like big, right, in the current era. And it's like, yeah, I liked watching a lot of the new guys, and just like seeing how big they got all of a sudden. I feel like the new wrestling generation, they're all huge, man. Enormous dudes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Katie, do you have any standouts from the new era / COVID period?
So when we talked earlier about Randy Orton being a big deal, and I saw it early on, this was the era where I thought, like, I'm still a big fan of Dolph Ziggler. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was compared at the time to like being the next Shawn Michaels because of how he performs, and I love how Dolph Ziggler sells. Like, if you ever see him take a spear from Goldberg, like, he sells it. Like, it's massive. So he's good at selling, period. And I thought he was going to be a big deal during this time frame, but it turns out that he was able to win the championship once, and then really didn't materialize into anything after that. I think a lot of it has to do with like his size wasn't very big, so he didn't have that kind of fit for like major championship. Always good for the mid-level championships, but he was my standout. Him and Edge are the big standouts during this phase for me, and maybe even CM Punk to some degree. I don't like CM Punk very much, but he basically him and John Cena carried the company during this era, because this was also Nexus era. You remember Nexus?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I completely skipped over like the Nexus story plot for watching, so I know that they existed, but I wasn't involved during that period.
Yeah, so this is Nexus, and the Shield started around this time frame too. So the Shield was obviously a very big deal, and they were cool at the time too. So those were standouts for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's actually some kind of important story points that happened during this era that we kind of missed out, but we kind of transition now into current era. This is like 2021, just past COVID into present. TBD on what this era is called. I think some people will call it the Paul Levesque era. Some people will call it the TKO era, with TKO taking over ownership of WWE. So this is kind of like today, wrestlers of today. And Lex, you watch some Rumbles now and then. I guess every year you participate in the Rumble lottery with us. But do you have any standout wrestlers like as of today?
John Cena is still a thing, right?
He actually just retired.
Oh, he just retired. Okay, then no.
Okay, that's fair. Well, did you like John Cena in general, though, or just kind of like with the recent?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I didn't really like him as much, but it's just in the most recent years, I've been watching a lot of his movies, and he is a fantastic actor. Like, he is amazing. He hits the funny bone so well that I've come to like him quite a bit.
So it kind of worked in the reverse for you, where you appreciated him as an actor, which then made you a wrestling fan of his.
Yeah, exactly.
Gigs, new era wrestlers, current wrestlers of today. Who are some of the standouts for you?
Really, the only standout for me is Rhea Ripley. Like that, it's just because she's the only one that's like, one, she's a female wrestler that's like enormous, and that aesthetic, the goth thing. Real nice. Like that. Like that a lot. It's the goth.
Gigs is like,
thing.
Rhea Ripley has spikes in her outfit. Cha-ching!
Yeah, that's my jam, man. So big, strong lady with goth, aesthetic. That's pretty sick. So that's my standout. I have to say though, yeah, like in the current era, this is probably like a whole entirely different topic in and of itself. But in the current era, is where I find, in my personal opinion, that the women's wrestling is way better than it was in the past eras. In the Attitude Era, Attitude Era. Prior to that, women were treated sort of as like not main event wrestlers for sure. Even when they had the Divas belt, like that belt was a joke. Let's be honest. That it was a pink butterfly championship belt that said Divas on it. No one's going to take that belt seriously. I mean, AJ Lee probably would disagree, but I also don't think AJ Lee is good either. I don't know if that's a hot take. Sorry, AJ Lee, sponsor us. But yeah, so this is the first era, in my opinion, where I would agree with you, Gigs. I think the standout for me this era is Rhea Ripley. And this is the first era where it's like a female wrestler really taking over the spotlight, and the women's wrestling is just at a different level of quality now. And with my wife watching wrestling now, she has noted, she's like, the women's wrestling is also just better than the men's wrestling. She finds that there's more action. They sort of work harder in the ring, whereas the men's wrestling will do a lot of, we're going to spend the next 8 minutes in a chokehold or a hammerlock, like that kind of thing. But the women's wrestling are like, they're working, they're putting in spots and stuff. So she just likes watching the women's matches. I'm glad that I didn't have her watch the Attitude Era women's matches, because she would have been horrified. Hearing was Jerry the King Lawler just say puppies over and over? Goodness gracious.
That would be tough.
Actually, just sorry, on this sort of like women's wrestling point, I think another reason why I think the women's wrestling has gotten really good is a lot of the like Japanese talent that came over, right? There's a few Japanese women wrestlers that are really good. Plus, Shinsuke, right, came over to the men's, like 6 years ago, something like that. Mm-hmm. And like the influx of the Japanese wrestlers, I think is really cool, because they put a fun, very technical sort of like spin on like what we usually know as wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you've got Asuka, you got Io Sky,
Kairi Sane,
they're all sort of in this spotlight now, and they're just bringing a whole different level of technical skill, expertise, and entertainment into the ring, and kind of raising the bar for the women as well. So
totally.
Women's wrestling just generally way better nowadays. So for me, Rhea Ripley's a standout, but I also just have kind of my personal favorite standout for this era, and that's LA Knight.
I knew you would say that at some point.
LA Knight I have a personal preference for him, and it's because he reminds me of the Attitude Era wrestlers. The way that he cuts promos, just his general vibe, the way that he is. He reminds me of kind of a. He's got kind of glimmers of The Rock, glimmers of Stone Cold. Like I said, he's not those wrestlers, but like he reminds me of the era of those wrestlers, which is why I really like him. The tough part for me is, if I'm being totally fair, he botches a lot. He both
does.
on the mic
really?
and in the ring. He's a little bit messy, so I can kind of see why maybe the company doesn't want to put a premier title on him, because he's just not as clean as if you hear John Cena or CM Punk on the microphone. There's no slip ups. It's clean, all clean. You watch like Cody Rhodes in the ring, like when he's actually wrestling, clean. It's all very, very clean. So there's very little botches that happen from, those high tiered wrestlers, but you do get those from LA Knight. So I like him, but I can see why he's not in that main event picture just yet. But fingers crossed. I'm still rooting for my boy LA Knight.
I agree with you. Like LA Knight messes up a lot. Maybe that's why they don't put a strap on him, but they gave it to Jey Uso, and I don't understand that. So.
Yeah,
Jey Uso is terrible.
I don't even watch that much wrestling, and I could tell Jey Uso sucks. Like
Jey Uso is not technically a good wrestler. He has his entrance music, and that's it. That's all he's good at, and that's even kind of tired now too. But on that, so my favorites of this era, I have to say Roman Reigns, because he is the reason I even got brought back into it as heavily as I did a couple years ago. Like the storyline of the bloodline and that whole thing was just
so good,
masterful, very good, well written story that I think they brought more fans in for that period of time, and they made WrestleMania 40 epic. It was one of the best WrestleManias I've seen in a long time. For that reason, Roman Reigns is there. And I also have two more. I have Drew McIntyre. I think he's an excellent wrestler. I think he's a great bad guy. I think he's a great good guy if he needs to be. But he's one of those guys that he blurs the lines of, he tells the truth, and it's hard to make him. It's hard to make him a bad guy because he's saying the truth, like a CM Punk, basically, right? So, but very physically, he looks like a solid wrestler. Like he looks the part. And the third one I'll mention is Logan Paul. I actually do like Logan Paul. I am.
Dang.
Yeah. I am. Hey, that's
a hot take.
That's hot take. Sure.
He is very athletic. Like
he's very good.
You can't fault the guy for that.
For what he does and how short of a time he's done it. Like he gets heat. He's very good in the ring. People hate him, and I think those are all good parts of an equation that makes him a really good wrestler. So, how can you fault him for that? But I will say this, closing this era up a little bit for myself, my favorite wrestler right now is not even in WWE, right? Like it's MJF. MJF is the best wrestler in the world right now.
Second to none. His skills on the microphone, cutting promos, just in general, his anytime MJF opens his mouth, it's going to be pure gold.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Yeah, he's great on the mic. He's a great wrestler. He's young. He's done all these kinds of different matches now. It proves that he's not just a one-trick pony. Like I don't follow AEW that much, but when I know it's a segment that he's on, or maybe a match that I should probably catch even after the pay-per-view is done, I will make the time to check it out, because he's a worth watch.
Definitely. I want to just comment on Logan Paul real quick here.
Okay.
Feathers ruffled.
You got booed. And we know why. Like, Logan Paul is kind of a divisive character, but I do agree with you though, Katie. My wife hates this take that I will mention to her as well. The thing that I appreciate about Logan Paul, despite other things about him and like, the whole YouTube scandal thing, he puts in work. And I think that's why I have to give him credit where credit is due. He doesn't just come in and just is like whatever and treats it like a side gig. Like, he treats it like he's a wrestler, and he respects the business. He respects the ring. He does everything that he needs to do for someone who wants to be a wrestler, right?
Yep.
And he's good. And his physical talents, his athleticism, like all of that combined with the right attitude of wanting to be in this business, like, as much as everyone hates him, you got to give him credit. He's pretty good.
Yeah. He doesn't have to do this, but he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you a lot of points.
I'll actually contrast that with another wrestler who I think is the opposite, who does get a lot of praise and hype. Brock Lesnar, I think, is the opposite of Logan Paul. I feel like Brock Lesnar now puts in zero work. He does nothing. Anytime he's in the ring, you know that you're going to expect probably 14 to 20 German suplexes, and that's the match. German suplex, German suplex, German suplex, F5, match is done. Brock Lesnar does effectively nothing, but he has so much hype around him. He's big. He looks like a gorilla, and that's all he really does, right? So that's why I say you got to give Logan Paul some credit, because he's very versatile and he does a lot of stuff to put in the work in the ring. So he deserves a little bit of a shout out, right?
I agree. Totally.
So we've kind of gone through eras right from the golden era right up to today. And that's, I know that's kind of like a ton. We've thrown a lot of wrestlers' names out there. I want to close out this episode with just some kind of quick fire. Well, it doesn't have to be super quick fire, but just kind of like a round table on some topics that I want to get everyone's thoughts on. We've kind of touched base on some of these wrestlers, but I want to know everyone's perspective. We'll go round table style. I want you to tell me some of your most overrated wrestlers. These are the wrestlers they get big pushes, they get title shots, they're super hype, everyone loves them, whatever, but you're just like, gosh, this wrestler's just not it for me. Lex, we'll start with you. Do you have a overrated wrestler that's kind of at the top of your mind?
Yeah, I never really liked Edge. I don't know why.
Ooh.
Yeah. He bugged me.
I don't know if that's a hot take, but I agree with you. I also don't like Edge. Why don't you like Edge?
I don't know. I think when I first started watching it, it was Edge and Christian, and I'm the opposite of Giggs. They're like the gothy ones.
You didn't like the vampire thing?
No,
with the brood?
Yeah. Who was the other guy? Gengar? No, that's a Pokemon.
Gangrel?
Gangrel,
yeah. Edge, Christian, and Gangrel, yeah.
Yeah, I did not like that crew, and then Edge got more and more popular. He stole Goldberg's special, and it didn't look as cool. Yeah, the spear.
I also think that this whole storyline with Edge and Lita was really gross, too.
Yeah.
Like, there's something
so
about
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, never liked that guy.
That's fair. Edge. Okay. Giggs, what do you think? Who's the first one that comes to mind for overrated wrestler?
Cody Rhodes. No. Oh, no. I'm joking. I didn't really like his move is the Claymore.
Oh,
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Yes. Drew McIntyre. I did not like Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he was popular. I know he got a title shot. He won the Rumble. When was that? Like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could not like that guy in any sense. He was just big and oafy, and like, I don't think he has a good look. And when I did hear him on the mic, I was like, it was very underwhelming. And like,
just doesn't hit, hey?
Yeah. So when he won the Rumble, I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. That's just for me though, and I don't really follow the storylines, right? So I don't know that much more context. But from a outsider, I was pretty underwhelmed by his performance.
Fair.
I feel like I should ask, and maybe Katie, you know the answer to this, or if there's any truth to this. Every time we see Drew McIntyre, my wife asks if he made someone angry in the company, like Triple H or Stephanie McMahon, or he's like, did he sleep with someone who's like really important? Because he constantly gets screwed over every single time he's in a storyline, like he won the championship and then lost it after 6 seconds when Damian Priest called in his Money in the Bank. Anytime he's like about to get a push, he gets stopped immediately. Like, I don't know, Lex and Gigs, if you followed for this road to WrestleMania this year, Drew McIntyre was the champion and he lost the belt to Cody Rhodes 3 weeks ago on SmackDown. Just before WrestleMania.
Oof.
So it was supposed to be Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton because Randy Orton won Elimination Chamber. And because he lost the belt 3 weeks ago, it is now Cody Rhodes and
Randy Orton.
Yeah. At WrestleMania. So my wife is like, what's going on to Drew McIntyre? Like, why is he even in this company? Is he just getting soft fired or something? Or what's happening here? What's your take on this, Katie?
I don't know. I think the part of it is like they try to push him a little bit, and they realize that he's not a huge draw. Like people are not that interested in him, depending on who the person on the other side is. But I see that. I see what people are saying, and I see why people would even say that. But I don't know if he's pissed anyone off. Like, he had an opportunity to leave a couple years ago, but he decided to stay. So
yeah,
I don't know.
He did decide to stay, right?
Yeah,
like that was his choice.
Yeah. But okay. I think he's trying to get to a place where he wants to be, just like most wrestlers in their later years. They want to become movie stars eventually, right? So I think he knows that that's the opportunity, is that this is the segue to get into big action movies, and this is the platform to do it. So I think that's part of the reason why. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, because he's just, whether you like him or not, he gets screwed constantly. So tough on his book. But if he signed up for that, then that's his choice. For me, this one's really quick. I don't even need to dive into this one unless there's any objections here. But AJ Styles, I think AJ Styles sucks. I don't like anything about AJ Styles. I think he's awful on the microphone. Anytime he opens his mouth for a promo, I just can't take him seriously. I don't know if it's the Georgia accent or whatever, but he starts talking and he immediately seems less threatening instantly. Like, he comes out and he's like, he looks like AJ Styles, even when he came back and he was like ripped, and you're like, holy smokes. And then he starts talking and I'm like, oh, I can probably take AJ Styles. That guy is not at all. You like AJ Styles though, Katie, yeah?
I do, yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, his promo skills are not great, but athletically, he's like one of the best. Especially because I did watch him or follow him a little bit in his early days in TNA, and he had some amazing matches in TNA, and that's probably what carries me to say like he's one of the best. In Japan, another amazing era he had. So he toned it down for the WWE, obviously, but I get it.
I feel like he had a really huge cult following in the indies and stuff. And that feels like, I may be wrong, but I feel like that popularity kind of carries over into WWE. So he's like, I want to say falsely inflated popular from his previous fans. Like, I don't know if he's making new fans in the WWE. I don't know. Like, my wife watches and she's like, this guy's not fun to watch. So it's like, unless you've already followed him or have like a little bit of like a connection with him, he doesn't seem at least with his WWE gimmick, he's not really capturing new fans, I feel like, hey?
Well, he wasn't, he was never booked really strongly. Like, he won the championship once or twice, I think, but it was, he wasn't dominating or by any means. And again, this is a size thing. Like, he's trying to play with people in the WWE that are just much larger than him, and that difference is very glaring when you put those two kind of people together. Like, it doesn't work very well sometimes. Like, it only works for short periods of time, like Rey Mysterio, but overall, it doesn't work well when you're working with big people.
Yeah,
it's not believable.
All right, Katie, overrated wrestlers. What do you think?
Yeah, I got two that pop right in my head right away. The first one I mentioned earlier is Jey Uso. I have no idea why
he's on my list too.
Yeah,
Jey Uso sucks.
He's nothing special. He can't talk. He can't wrestle.
Do you know? Have you seen the last few episodes of Raw with Jey Uso coming out and like being on the mic with CM Punk?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think he thinks he's another race. I don't know.
He's gotten so much worse first of all. And he does this thing now that drives me nuts where he gets all heated and stuff and then he slaps the microphone.
Yes.
Right? And it's just like a giant pop burst in your ear. And you're like, dude,
don't do that.
Yeah, like it's a microphone. Like, don't slap it with your hand. But he does it like he's like, when you like slap your fist like you're about to fight. So You're like, I don't know. He seems more and more amateur every time I see him. And similar to what I was saying about Brock Lesnar, you're in for like 30 super kicks with a Jey Uso match. So,
oh God, yes. So he's terrible. And the other one I'll throw at you is I never understood Jeff Hardy either. Like he's never really connected with me. And he has a couple fancy moves, and that's all anyone knows him by is flying off ladders.
Just his disregard for his own body kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But like he does, other people do the same thing. But for him, I don't know. People make him out to be this big deal, but he's average. He's mid, as the kids say.
Nice. I would agree with you. I would say, in my opinion, he feels like just a lesser version of Darby Allin in terms of like you're sacrificing your body for the sport, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think people appreciate what he does and how he sacrifices himself, but it just doesn't work with me. I know he's very popular, but it doesn't work with me.
That's fair. Lex, do you have another overrated wrestler on your site?
It was one of my favorite characters or wrestlers back then, but Kane. But when he took his mask off,
man,
yeah,
you like
mask,
but then corporate Kane.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one. The mask really made him. I don't know why they decided to take this mask off. But
it's a fall of a wrestler for me.
I mean, but it's like he had kind of like a bell curve kind of scenario because when he started off in the earlier eras as Dr. Isaac Yankem, I was actually happy that they put a mask on him.
Oh, I didn't know that. He was someone before Kane.
He was a dentist.
Yeah, I remember watching one of those recordings that KD had where you guys showed me that. I remember you guys were like, oh yeah, look, he has like the same mannerisms and stuff. And then you showed me the clip from one of KD's videos, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's the same guy.
It's the guy.
Nice. All right, Gegs, what do you think? What's another throw?
I can't think of anyone else outside of Brock Lesnar either. Once you mentioned Brock Lesnar, I was like, oh, dang it.
No, that's okay, because I have Brock Lesnar obviously on my list. I'll kind of group in. I think, I know, sorry for the earlier era there, but I think Goldberg is also overrated.
Think, from my understanding of how he is as a wrestler, I can see that. Also,
he's athletic. Yeah. He was terrible on the microphone too. Like, I don't think. He had
that too. He was just a good athlete, but he wasn't. Yeah. His mic skills were terrible.
And I already said Jey Uso. I also have Rey Mysterio on my list as well as overrated. But I'll close up my overrated section with a woman this time. I think an extremely overrated wrestler is Charlotte Flair.
Oh, totally. She sucks to watch, man. Oh, buddy.
I think she's athletic. I don't think she's particularly great in the ring anymore. I think she's not great on the microphone. When we had last year's WrestleMania run, when she was doing promos against Tiffany Stratton, it was very clear how she's not able to handle being dynamic on the mic. And when she returned and she thought she was going to come back as a babyface and get a pop, and everyone booed her for coming back, and you saw her instantly get rattled on like, I don't know how I'm supposed to handle this.
Good point.
Charlotte Flair's not it for me.
That's a good point.
All right, Katie, finish off this section. If you have a few more, just rattle them off. Your overrated wrestlers on your list.
Oh, wow. There's quite a bit. Like, I was going to say Goldberg too. He wasn't. Lex Luger's another one.
Lex Luger's a good one.
I really never understood Lex Luger's appeal. Who's the other one? I was going to say Matt Hardy too. So basically, the Hardy brothers, the whole brothers, they can go to hell.
Dang! Tell them how you really feel.
I just did. And I was going to say Doink the Clown too. And
overrated.
Overrated. They made him a big deal in that era. They made him a big deal. I have no idea why. Like that's just a ridiculous gimmick to have. And oh geez, what's his name? X-Pac. Jeez, X-Pac. That's the guy.
1, 2, 3 kid. Yeah, what's up?
Never understood X-Pac either.
I 100% agree with that. Like, any level of popularity for X-Pac completely went over my head. Whether he was X-Pac or Six in the NWO, like, I was just like, I can't take this guy seriously when I think like a 12-year-old kid can beat this guy up. Like, I can't see him being in the ring with anyone.
Like you look at him, he doesn't have the stature of anyone that should be anything important. But I think he's just friends with the right people, and
that's right.
Yeah, he's the Rob Schneider of the WWE.
That is great. That's a very good take. Yeah,
that's
for
the
sure.
highlight clip. I think Gigs. Rob Schneider. Dang.
I like that. Yeah. So that's
okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's quickly go on the other side of the coin here. Your underrated wrestlers. These are wrestlers who you know they're good. They're not getting the right bookings. They're not getting the right push or whatever. But just you're like, this is a really underrated wrestler. They should be way bigger than they are. Lex, underrated wrestlers on your side?
Oh, man. Putting me on the spot. Shane McMahon.
Oh, wow.
No, that's legit. I would give you that.
I liked him a lot.
No, dude, man, like watching him fly off the cage, he was one of those guys that put his body on the line, right? And it was awesome to watch that.
Yeah. Now that you've said that, I almost want to say that from like pushing yourself in ring performance, I would say Shane McMahon reminds me of Logan Paul in that sense. Except he doesn't have the athleticism. So they're putting in the work. They have like the desire to be good in the ring, but Shane McMahon just wasn't fit like Logan Paul is, right?
It was that guy, and then I can't remember his name, but his special move was called the Master Lock. I don't know why.
Chris Masters.
Yeah.
Phil Nelson.
Yeah, that was one of the moves we tried, like my brother tried on me, and that's probably one of the most painful wrestling moves in history. It is brutal. It is brutal. Like, that one actually hurts.
All right, Gigs. Underrated wrestlers. What do you think?
I only have one, and I don't know if he's actually underrated. It's just that he's not part of North American wrestling, and that's Kenny Omega. I had to shout out Kenny Omega because he has a huge overlap with like my other interests. So I know so much more about him than a lot of other wrestlers just because he is so much a part of the FGC, which is really cool. And the dude is like Canadian, and I think that's really cool too. He's just like, I played him in Street Fighter V. You know what I mean? Like it's just that connection. That's all. I think Kenny Omega's sick, and I don't know if he's that popular in North America because he's in New Japan Wrestling, right? So
he's actually at AEW.
Oh, is he? He moved over, eh?
Yeah, he's been there from the beginning.
Shoosh. Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah,
okay.
So
there it is.
It's weird because he's got like a huge following from like wrestling community fans, but like if you ask people who are kind of casual wrestling fans, I would say most of them wouldn't even know who Kenny Omega is. Is that fair to say, Katie?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's in a level of where casual fans might know him, but you're not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I actually will kind of segue that into my list here. For underrated wrestlers, I have MJF on the list for underrated wrestlers on my side as well. Kind of for the same reasons that you're saying about Kenny Omega, is that I feel like if you're not kind of a core wrestling fan, you can ask a bunch of people who MJF is, and a lot of people won't know, but I think he should be sort of a household name because of how good he is. And we already talked about that, Katie, right? Like just how good MJF is just in general across the board.
Yeah.
I would say we've mentioned Dolph Ziggler. I have him as my underrated because he's just, if you want to make someone look good in the ring, you put him in a match against Dolph Ziggler and they're going to look like a champ. Right? I would say in that same kind of train of thought, I also have The Miz as an underrated wrestler for the same purposes. I think if you want to put someone or make someone look good, against someone that has some amount of credibility. You put him in a storyline with The Miz, and you can kind of give him just a little bit of a boost, but The Miz kind of doesn't really get much else other than joke stuff and being cursed by Danhausen. I have a couple other ones here. I thought Goldust was an underrated wrestler at the time, I think.
Reminds me of one of our cousins.
Yeah. I think he just had so much potential. Like, he was so entertaining to watch, and he was good in the ring, but like, he just didn't really get anything there. And I just think Goldust should have gotten a little bit more. I think Hurricane Helms should have got a little bit more something. His whole hurricane superhero shtick was, I liked that.
It's pretty good.
And then my last one here, I think this is the biggest one for me. Chad Gable on the current roster, or
that's a good one.
Or El Grande Americano OG, if that's how we want to play it. But Chad Gable is great in all ways. He's tiny guy, but he's like stacked. He's
big.
He looks, he's ripped. He's powerful. He's good on the mic. He's fun. He's charismatic. He's technical. Like, he's got all of these tools around him. And I just think he's not being used in a really great way. And they've kind of relegated him down to like kind of joke bookings right now. But Chad Gable, I feel like should be way bigger than he actually is. So
very
that's
good.
kind of like the highest one on my list.
That's great.
Yeah,
those are good.
All right, Katie. What do you think? Who's your underrated wrestlers list here?
Mine are always on based on the fact that they're always heels. They're always the bad guys, because to be a bad guy is not easy, but it's also more fun. And so these guys are ones that they do the job well, and they should be like the main bad guy for any promotion that they work in. So first off, the current roster, Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is absolutely one of the best wrestlers, best talkers. He's a great bad guy. He can play the asshole, and but he can also be endearing, like in a good way, where people connect with him. So he can play both sides really well. So KO is one of them. I also was going to have Chad Gable on there too. So you kind of mentioned why. So that's great. Another one from back in the day. This one is the Honky Tonk Man. I have no idea how you can make that gimmick work as well as it did. He did.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a really good point.
Like, there was a period of time, and I read this somewhere, where Honky Tonk Man was going to be the main heel versus Hulk Hogan during that era. And but the only reason why it didn't happen is because Hulk Hogan didn't want to work with him. And so it's like they were going to put this Elvis Presley impersonator as the biggest villain in wrestling against Hulk Hogan. Like, that's what people thought would be a good partnership. And the only reason why it didn't happen is because Hulk Hogan didn't want it to happen. So, someone that can make that work is amazing in my eyes. And then the last one I have is Jake the Snake Roberts. I think he was fantastic at what he did. He basically had one move, but how he moved in the ring and how he talked on the mic, like, he was believable as the dark character that he was. And I listened to every word he said. Same reason. And then when he dropped a DDT, that was his move. That was his finishing move. But he made it work. Like, it's a standard move now, but he made that work, and it was believable at the time as like a deadly move. So he did a great job with that too. So Jake Roberts should have been a world champion at some point in time. Not the case.
He's never won a championship, Jake Roberts.
Not a main championship. No.
Oh, dang! I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Feels like he was robbed. Yeah. And so I had one more, because in the same theme of heels that really do a good job is I know you don't like him, but Christian. Christian is one of the best heels.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like a heel. I don't think maybe he did play a good guy at one point, but he's always been a bad guy, and he's always been good at that. And like the way he talks, and he knows how to play that character really well. And I don't think he was given enough flowers like Edge has in terms of his career.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. When you put him next to Edge and you see how big and popular Edge is versus Christian was equally, if not better, in a lot of aspects than Edge, especially on the microphone. Like you said, Christian as a heel is incredible. Like, he feels almost deeply personally offensive. Like he's on the mic and you're like, oh my God, like
what a jerk.
are you allowed to say that? Like that's horrible things to say. I still remember when he had his first solo run push, and then the beginning of his theme song, the Christian, at last you're on your own. And then it was like, oh, perfect. He just fit it so well. But no, that's a really, really good pick. I didn't even think about that, but definitely he should be on the underrated wrestler list. Let's close this out. Let's finish this out with one more quick topic here. What better way to finish out our wrestling episode by finishing with the best finishing move? What is the best finishing move of all time, in your opinion? Let's start with Lex.
I'm going to have to say the Tombstone.
The Tombstone's a pretty good.
Yeah, that one is, you have to do that properly or else you're dead.
Yes.
Like it's very, very close to a show or a funeral for the Tombstone.
That is one of few wrestling moves, you're right, that look like that could genuinely kill somebody. So
yeah, I find that one to be the most dangerous one. Or if I were to choose a close second, it's like the super power bomb. I can't remember who does it. I think it's Batista's move, actually, but anything that's powerbomb-esque is also dangerous because, my goodness.
That's a good point.
Well, because Batista has the sit-out one, and then Undertaker had the last ride where they up on the shoulders, and then he lifts them up above his own head and then drops them down. That one looked real painful, too. Powerbomb variants for sure. Yeah. I don't know if I could take many power bombs. I don't know if I could take one power bomb, I should say, but
yeah, exactly.
All right, Gakes, what do you think? Best finisher in your opinion?
I was going to say Tombstone too. Yeah, I love the Tombstone. It's just like the whole shtick of it is really cool, where he crosses their arms over them after. I love it.
Yeah, because it's got an after ritual, like a pinning ritual after,
exactly.
Which is awesome.
Plus, it it was the one that when we were kids, we were told not to even try.
By who? Like your parents, or like?
Yeah, well, it was just like that was the one that we all heard stories of, one brother breaking the neck of another. Because they were fooling around trying to do it right. So
that and the pile driver. Yeah, those two.
Yes, the pile. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. I have one, but then I had like a backup one just in case someone else picked it. So I'll just say the one that I had initially picked, which is Kenny Omega's One Winged Angel.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, nice.
I thought that's the one that you were going to say, Gigs. Actually, got a little bit of a showcase in Street Fighter 6 for Alex's level 2 super. So that's kind of cool. If you had picked that one, I had a tie. I cheated. I picked 3 finishers. Sorry. I had a tie between Shane Helm's Vertebreaker.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You remember that one, Katie? Yeah, the Vertebreaker. Yes. That one looks genuinely super dangerous. I think it was banned because of the high risk of breaking someone's neck.
Yeah.
Genuinely. So they can't use the Vertebreaker anymore. But then tied with that one, I actually went a little bit older school, not the RKO. I'm going with the DDP's Diamond Cutter.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Because before Randy Orton had his RKOs and Flash RKOs and all of this stuff, the fun of watching Diamond Dallas Page matches was seeing how he was going to do the Diamond Cutter to finish, because it would come from, he's going to get powerbombed, or he's powerbombing someone, or he's doing something off the top rope, and on somehow it ends up in a Diamond Cutter, and you're like, what? This is crazy. So I think that one was just one of the coolest variants of finishing moves that I've ever seen.
I like his taunt when he starts it off. He makes the shape of the diamond, then looks at it.
Yeah.
Telegraphing.
Yeah. All right, Katie, finish us off. Your favorite finisher of all time.
Roddy Piper's sleeper hold.
Nice.
No, I'm kidding.
Get out of here.
No, I'm kidding. That's ridiculous. Come on now. I have 2. I'm gonna go newer school, which is not really, but newer school.
You got to give us both, though. Then.
Okay, both. First would be the Stone Cold Stunner. I don't know how you
Yeah.
can
Mm-hmm.
ignore that being one of the best finishers of all time. Like you, when that gets hit, you know the match is pretty much done. Like that's just
Yeah.
it's fantastic, and the way that Stone Cold does it, it's like perfection. People have tried to
So
copy it;
good.
it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's definitely up there.
And it
Probably
gives
one.
everyone that opportunity to sell it too.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
like people selling it, like people with beer in their mouth selling it. The
Yeah.
Rock sold it like he got shot from a sniper. Like he's amazing. So yes, Stone Cold Stunner is number one.
Stone Cold Stunner. Yeah.
1A. 1B, I'm going to go back to my GOAT, Macho Man Randy Savage's flying elbow. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone can do a flying elbow the way he can. Like, it's
Yeah.
I think people have tried to copy it, but like, you can't get it the way that he does it. And even I try to do it, I'm like, my God, like, it's art to watch the flying elbow from Macho Man. It's just beautiful. He just pinpoint accuracy gets it right every single time, and I just love watching it every time. So Macho Man's I'm
Hold on, pause
biased.
for a second. You said even I tried to do it and I can't. Who are you giving the Macho Man flying elbow to?
Pillows.
Oh.
Well, we started with Macho Man. We'll wrap up with Macho Man. Thank you so much, Katie, for joining us for the special bonus XP episode. We had to break this into two parts, but we can see there's so much wrestling stuff to talk about. So we might have to do a follow up post WrestleMania for you to join back in the Triple XP arcade.
Thanks for bringing me on, guys. A real pleasure. I don't get to talk wrestling very often with people, but this is always a fun time. So you guys do a great job, and I'm just happy to be part of it. Thank you.
All right, folks, that's a wrap for us this week on the Triple XP Arcade. We always love hanging out with you in the party, so please leave a comment below and let us know who your favorite wrestler is. We want to know all around whether you are a wrestling fan, whether you don't watch wrestling, whether you've heard about wrestling. I want to know who your favorite wrestler is, all right? Be sure to follow us on socials so you don't miss a drop with new episode releases every single Friday. Until then, game on, stay nerdy, and remember, you always level up faster at the Triple XP Arcade.